They told you to post more, and you did. So you do the market updates, you post the listing tours, you share the just sold posts, you throw in a tip about getting pre-approved because that's what everyone says you're supposed to do, and nobody is calling. So the problem isn't that you need to post even more. Please know we are already on a content hamster wheel, and we're not solving this by feeding the content hamster more snacks. The problem is that most real estate content has no job. It exists, but it doesn't build trust. It doesn't answer questions your future clients are asking or make you the obvious person to call. I've looked at a lot of agent content over the years, and the issue is almost never effort, it's strategy. So let's talk about what's actually wasting your time and what kind of content is worth making instead. The first thing we need to get clear on is that visibility by itself is not a strategy. A lot of agents create content just to stay top of mind, and I get it. That's what we were told to do on social media. Remind them that you are still in business. You're still hanging in there. That remind them that you are still in real estate, just in case they forgot. But there's a huge difference between being visible and being useful. If your content is just reminding people that you still exist, that is not enough. People do not choose a real estate agent because they saw your face next to a Father's Day ad 7 times in a row. They choose you at some point because your content made them think, oh, she really knows what she's talking about. I trust her. So if content needs a job, what is the job? There's really only 3 things that it should do. It should either answer the question your future clients are already asking. It should show them how you think about things and how you're different. And it should make them feel safe choosing you. That's it. Because most people are not sitting around going, who's got the cutest Instagram aesthetic? They're wondering, can I afford to buy? When are interest rates going to come down? Should I sell first and then buy, or should I buy first and then sell? Is this neighborhood a good investment? What if my house doesn't sell? What if I overpay? This is what's going on in their heads. So when your content is just Happy National Donut Day from your favorite realtor, there's nowhere for that viewer to go. It might then remind them that you exist, but it doesn't help them trust you anymore with hundreds of thousands of dollars in investments, by the way. And you know this because you see the same posts that I see on Facebook. The agent, drinking coffee, the humble brag, working so hard for my clients. You get 3 likes, no comments, no shares. And this is why random content is so expensive. Not because it costs a lot of money, but because it costs a lot of time, your most valuable commodity. You spend all this time thinking of ideas, making a cute graphic, posting it, writing the caption, and then the content just disappears off the face of the earth 48 hours later. It does nothing for your business, and that is a terrible trade. Especially when you could take that same amount of effort and make one solid YouTube video that answers a question people are actually Googling, and months and years from now, people are still finding it. And that is why YouTube is different. On Instagram or Facebook, you're usually interrupting someone while they were trying to look at their cousin's vacation photos, or they're arguing with strangers over politics. On YouTube, people are actively looking for answers. They are typing in their question into the search bar. They are already raising their hand and saying, hello, I am in the market to do a real estate transaction. No one's going to click on a video called Never Buy a Home with a Pool Without Doing This First, unless they're thinking about buying a home and they're looking at homes with pools. So instead of constantly asking, what should I post today? Start asking, what question would my future client be searching before they actually were ready to hire an agent? That is where the good content is. So let's make this practical. Good real estate content does one of 3 things: answers a question, provides local expertise, makes the viewer feel like you get them. Bonus points if it can do all 3 of those things. A high intent question is not, should I buy a house someday? It's more like, should I buy a house in July 2026 when interest rates are X%? These are questions people ask when something is actually happening in their life right now. Then we've got local expertise. And this is where so many people are missing a huge opportunity. They think that local content means going to the coffee shop and filming it or filming the farmer's market. And that can work on social media, but local expertise is so much more than that. It's helping people understand the market in a way that they just can't get from Zillow. Why one neighborhood sells faster than another. Why two houses with the same floor plan can have totally different buyer demand. Why one home sits on the market for 90 days when the one down the street sold in 3 days. That is useful local information. And then the third type is the kind of content that makes them feel understood. It's where you say the thing out loud that they're thinking in their head. I want to sell my house, but I bought it in 2021 and my interest rate is amazing. I can't get that now. If I sell now, I'm going to buy a house that's more expensive and has a higher interest rate. Why should I do that? When you say that out loud, you show that you are the person that gets it. And that is when content really starts doing its job. So the shift is not from going from 3 times a week to 5 times a week. It's from posting random content to building a client attraction system. And that means fewer random topics, better questions, stronger opening hooks, and more specific viewer demographics. Because if somebody watches your content and thinks, oh my gosh, that was so helpful, but they have no idea what to do next, you're still leaving money on the table. You don't need to keep making more content just to keep the internet fed. You need content that leads somewhere, a video that answers the right question for the right person at the right time. That is the whole game. You're not wasting your time because content doesn't work. You're wasting time if the content has no strategy behind it. So if you need help coming up with content ideas, in this video, I'll show you how to plan 30 videos in only 10 minutes.